Hello, good morning. Again, this is John Edward Miranda, your instructor for IT01. So last time we discussed chapter 5, which is digital media literacy. So today we will be discussing chapter 6, and this is going to be the internet. Okay. So we already have an overview of the internet. We already defined it last time during our chapter 1 talk for the introduction to ICT. We already defined internet as interconnected networks, right? So and you can see the diagram. So this is actually how the internet works, and that's the reason why we actually call it an interconnected networks, because these routers you are seeing are considered to be networks, right? And these red lines are actually the information that is being passed for you to be able to know how the stuff works. Okay, so if you're going to, it's like this. If we are having an online class right now, there is this thing that we call internet traffic. And these are the red lines that you are actually seeing here. But certain internet traffics are not actually like the traffic that we are used to in the real world, where it takes an hour for us to be able to pass that traffic. But in the internet traffic, it's just a slight delay for you to be able to receive the information coming from a different network. So right now, the best example for this is actually if you're gonna go live on Facebook, and then if it's not actually real time, though it's real time in a technical manner, that they're actually seeing what is actually going on your live. But some of the live things are actually delayed for about, like, let's say a second, like maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds. That's a delay, and that's considered to be an internet traffic. Okay, so that's how the passing of information over the internet happens. It passes through series of networks before you get to see what is actually happening on the other person's end. Okay? And some ways to use the internet, of course, we have your email, your research, your shopping, your news, games, and education line. So in here, sorry. So email. Um, Before, during our time, we don't have the messenger, so we get to actually see. So in here in email, we don't get to use the messenger before, so the replies are not that instant before, but we are using email as a main tool to communicate. This was way back during the early 2010. Um, we're using it to exchange information because we don't have the access to messengers before. But we do have one which is called YM, or Yahoo Messenger, but that's basically our messenger, the counter product of the messenger today. And that's basically it. But now email is just basically used for work. And you also have your research. So you can actually research a lot of many different things over the internet, by using different search engines like Google, Bing, and so on and so forth. We also have news, of course. You can actually use this to check what is happening on your local community or over the world. And of course, your favorite one is games, right? So you can play Mobile Legends, you can play League of Legends, you can play many other online games as well for you to be able to use the internet. And education line, of course. I've been saying this from time to time. This thing that we're actually doing here, this distance learning, is considered to be an education line, which is one of the ways that we can actually utilize the internet. And do you ever use the internet? Of course, you guys are using the internet. How often do you use the internet? Some of you are using the internet maybe based on your waking time. So, as long as you are awake, you are using the internet, right? You are connected over a wireless fidelity or any other connections that you are using, whether that is a hotspot, whether that is a data, or whether that is a Wi Fi. So, you are connected to it in your waking time. And as long as you're not sleeping or not active over your phone, then you are actually over the internet. So, probably maybe 90% of your waking time, you are actually using the internet. And that's already fine because we are hardwired with the internet now, since we are living in the IT era, because all things that we can actually perform now are being done over the internet: online shopping, online banking, food delivery, and those things can be performed online already. And that's the reason why we are actually hardwired with the internet now. And also we have here, why do we generally use the internet? Some of you are using it for games. Some of you are using it for your education, research purposes, or maybe just you passing time for recreational activities, and many other more. Watching movies, watching Netflix, streaming sounds on Spotify. Those are the things. Okay, so we also have here the internet terms, which are www, which we have already discussed. So World Wide Web, and this is being invented by who? Tim Berners-Lee, right? They created that HTML, which we will be discussing at the end part of terms. We also have browsers, so we also defined this last time. Browsers like your Google Chrome, your Mozilla Firefox, your Safari for iOS devices, Microsoft Edge, and many more. And the purpose of browsers is for us to be able to access the websites, right? We also have search engines. Now, there are many different search engines that we can actually use, and the most famous one is the Google. Aside from Google, we also have Yahoo, we have Bing and DuckDuckGo. So there are many other different search engines that you can actually use. Just don't stick with Google because that's the most commonly used search engine. You can also use Bing, Yahoo, for you to be able to access the World Wide Web. URL or Uniform Resource Locator. These are also known as web pages. Okay? So anything that you can see on the search engine or address bar of a browser is considered to be a URL. Okay, so each of these web pages has their own unique URL or Uniform Resource Locator. And of course, your domain. This is your website. You have your domain name like your Facebook.com, Google.com, YouTube.com, Twitter.com, TikTok.com. Those things are considered to be domain. And HTML or Hypertext Markup Language. These are codes that are being used by our programmers or web designers for them to be able to create websites. Okay, and they can actually use many different programming applications for them to create this particular web pages. Okay, those are HTML. Okay, so the World Wide Web, browser, I already discussed search engines, um, and uniform resource locations as well. Domain like your Facebook.com, HTML, and these are some of the codes that are being used. And that's the end of the slide. Okay. So again, thank you for watching this video. I will be discussing chapter 7, I think, next meeting. Okay. Have a great one.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.